things that this subreddit has taught me. I learned that Loblaw Companies Limited owns about 30% of the grocery retail industry market share. I learned that people are finding discrepancies between what Loblaw's products are saying is in the package versus what is actually in the package. And there is no shortage of these types of posts. And just one more.
You know, one factor for cost of living being so expensive in Canada is also corporate greed. You know, this is what happens when you have like 4 or 5 companies ruling everything in Canada, basically from a financial aspect and a corporate aspect. You have companies like Bell, Rogers, you have Loblaws, you have, a few other companies. Is that it? That's like, those 3 companies basically own more than half of Canada. I'm not joking. You guys can go and look that up. It's brutal what is going on in Canada. And because Loblaws make so much money, they can do things like this. Check this out. $12 for the regular price, but if you're one of the members, you can pay $4. That's how much they are going to upsell you if you're just a regular customer and not a member, because they can afford to do that because of corporate greed. Corporate greed is a rough topic here today, guys. I hope you at least learned something from today's video, because we have a lot of information to go through and also a lot of videos. Let's take a look at this one here.
Things that this subreddit has taught me. I learned that Loblaw Companies Limited owns about 30% of the grocery retail industry market share. I learned that people are finding discrepancies between what Loblaw's products are saying is in the package versus what is actually in the package. And there is no shortage of these types of posts. And just one more. I've also learned that Loblaws has some serious audacity. I learned that in their most recent quarter, Loblaws reported $621 million in profit compared to $556 million in profit the previous year. And this is one you probably already know about if you shop at Loblaws, because you get that little notice at the end of your purchase to donate. But Feed More Families is a pledge to donate 1 billion pounds of food to community-based charities by 2028. And they're going to do this through fundraising for food banks, which is interesting and ironic because the rise in the use of food banks is directly related to the increasing costs at grocery chains like this one. I also learned that Pierre Poilievre's senior advisor, Jenny Bernstein here, has 6 of her employees registered as lobbyists for Loblaws in Ontario. The system that we live in currently has made it so that we rely on grocery stores to live. Most people do not grow their own food anymore, and even people who have capacity to, it is very difficult to grow enough food all year round in Canada to be able to sustain yourself. And so we need to make sure that we keep grocers like Loblaws and Sobeys in check, because if that falls apart, society is going to collapse.
Yeah, and food insecurity is a real problem, and also the fact that Canada, again, you can't grow things all year round. It makes it even more of a scary topic and subject matter, because when people go hungry long enough, things will collapse, and she's absolutely right about that. And she mentioned that Loblaws grew its revenue by over 5%. So let's take a look at some of these statistics and see if that 5% was justified. In February 2025, Canada's annual inflation jumped up to 2.6%, up from 1.9% in January, partly due to the end of sales tax breaks. Now, this is the GST bonanza thing that happened at the beginning of the year that, basically surprisingly lowered inflation. Isn't that weird? Low taxes lowered inflation. And then when they got rid of it, inflation spiked again.
Up America, Kentucky Fried Chicken leg. So apparently the cost of a chicken leg at Kentucky Fried Chicken is so high, people are starting to boycott Kentucky Fried Chicken. But it's not that high when you actually eat at the restaurant. This is the price of a chicken leg if you get it through Grubhub or DoorDash or Uber Eats. So according to new pricing, Uber Eats is charging $4.79 for a KFC chicken leg. It's $4.19 on Grubhub and $3.49 if you pick it up on a delivery item. But if you just go to the store, it's $2.69, which is pretty much where it should be. And so people shouldn't be boycotting KFC. They should be boycotting Uber Eats, Grubhub, and other things like that. So here's an image from Uber Eats, a single drumstick from KFC for $4.79. Hey, at least you had the option to get it extra crispy. But yeah, $4.79 when the average price is $2.50. So Kentucky Fried Chicken did hike its prices slightly, but the insane costs and then fees that are coming from Uber Eats and DoorDash are astronomical, and those are the brands that need to be boycotted. Unless you like paying more than double for Kentucky Fried Chicken. Oh, and remember, on top of that, you have to pay fees for delivery and you have to tip. So once again, like I've said in other videos, delivery is becoming not worth it. Get your ass out there and get it yourself.
A lot of these companies now are taking advantage of your laziness. So if you are that lazy, I will tell you, it is better to go to the actual establishment to get it, get off your butt. But again, in places like Canada where it's really cold, a lot of people don't want to leave the house on those really cold, windy nights, especially in places like Toronto. I understand that. But my God, you gotta limit the amount of times you use these apps because corporate greed is going to corporate greed and they can gouge you for as much as they want if they know that you're gonna be compliant. NDP condemns Bell worker reduction plan, calls it corporate greed. Now, if you guys don't know, Bell actually cut 1,200 jobs just a few months ago. And again, that was one of the corporations I mentioned earlier in the video. They have a lot of power in Canada, unfortunately, and there won't be much repercussions, if any, for this. For far too long, Canada's telecom giants have been putting shareholders before their workers, continuing outsourcing jobs and jack up telecom prices on Canadians. Instead of outsourcing Canadian jobs, Bell should be investing in Canada, they said. And I do agree that outsourcing jobs is going to hollow out the entire sector in Canada. It's brutal. My last employer was also hiring a lot of people from Europe as well as India. And to my shock, it cost a lot of people jobs at my previous company. So corporate greed is a real thing. If they're going to find ways to cut costs and grow profits, they will. It's just the way that it goes, unfortunately.
We have to put a stop to the crazy prices. They are charging $13 for a burger from a truck. This is from a truck. You can't charge $15 for a hamburger from a truck. You can't do that. And it's not even famous for hamburgers. And they're charging $20 for a hamburger.
You know what? Like, if you're a small establishment like this place, they're going to take advantage of that as well, right? I just like the way that the stickers are just put on those old prices. That is very reminiscent to, I remember when they raised the minimum wage in Ontario by a pretty large margin. I think it was from like $11 to $15. Immediately, I went to go on lunch at a Taco Bell, and this is like a big corporation. They stickered on the prices for the updated version of the prices at Taco Bell, which was a lot more than the regular meal deal that I was typically getting at Taco Bell, which is crazy because Taco Bell used to always be like the cheapest place to get fast food. And then after those raises, I don't think it is anymore. Regardless, corporate greed again is going to corporate greed. Leave your thoughts about this video's subject matter down below in the comment section. And with that being said, guys, I will see you in the next video. Take care.